Welcome, brave wanderer, to this magical forest, where all manner of unsung adventure waits around every corner. Last time, we saw our intrepid band of little dictators waylaid on their quest to Mordenvale by some gnomish bounty hunters clad in mechanical armor. By way of a murderous ambush, our heroes were able to dispatch these feisty tinkers, but in doing so, they discovered that their so-called friend, Shadow, is a wanted criminal who might, at any time she chooses, slit their throats in their sleep.
For it's a magical forest adventure in a magical forest today. A magical forest adventure. Come play, come play. There is rhyme, there is reason and cunning. There is danger and daring and do. Grab the tail of this life and hold tightly, for its jaws, they are coming for you. So come on a
magical forest adventure.
In a magical forest today.
A magical forest adventure.
Come play, come play.
So, reeling from the shock of discovering the wanted poster that the two bounty hunters, Arkle and Jarkle, were in possession of, probably in order to track down Shadow and drag them back to people unbeknownst to the rest of you, you decide to take a few steps back, and a deep sigh, and a long rest. You settle in for the night, camping by the roadside in the same clearing that Arkle and Jarkle were, the remnants of their mechanical cuirasses and other torso pieces scattered across the area, their smear still fresh upon the ground to be slowly reabsorbed into nature.
Into nature.
Yeah, we break him, you shake him.
When I squished a gnome.
Yeah, it was like 10 minutes ago. I can still smell its bowels leaking. And the forest, the breeze finally starts to pick up again in the forest. It was quiet for a while, meaning you could start to fly again without issue. And it starts to pick up again. Some clouds start to roll in and fill the sky. Your druid senses are tingling, and you think a light rain will probably come in about morning time.
It's gonna rain soon, guys.
So you find some... give me a nature roll, please, Jabir.
Oh, okay. Gosh, we haven't done this in a while.
And there's a 65% chance it's already raining.
That's what I was
A
thinking.
14.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you managed to find a really nice campsite where there are some overlapping trees in the canopy that will pretty much stop most of the rain from coming through.
Nice.
And you're like, over here! Would you also like to accommodate for your 20 hangers-on, is it?
25.
25 hangers-on.
Yeah, definitely. Keep them warm and safe.
They have tents.
The good boys are all like, oh yeah, sorry, a lot of walking, no more walking I've done in a long time. So I started going, like taking their shoes off, massaging their feet. Well, let's all go down to the shovel down here. They all start talking amongst each other in their weird human speech. Got some grubs.
I just like flick my ear in annoyance.
They start offering you food. They've got like some pans full of half-boiled grubs that they've been pulling out of the trees in the environment. They
Jupiter's
start
excited.
chopping down and like digging up roots and grabbing mushrooms willy-nilly.
Delicious. That's exactly
I'm
my.
I offer Mo
primarily
some
a
grub.
carnivorous diet here.
You forgot about Mo?
We need to get
Go get him, boy.
are you seeking, Mo?
Pardon?
Who are you seeking, Mo?
Go get some grub.
Oh yeah, Mo like goes up the nearby tree. You hear the screeches of some tortured bird.
Some feathers are flying. Go back.
Wait. That's my cousin.
It's like the parable of your relationship.
There's a moment on this.
I'd like to talk for a second about this wanted poster.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
I mean, had I not mentioned this? I feel like maybe I had mentioned this. You guys, you probably just forgot. Like, yeah.
Girl. What's the go?
Well, I was saying that we shouldn't go to Mordenvale, but yeah, I kind of left on bad terms.
How bad?
Bad enough that I have a wanted poster.
And they want you alive?
Yeah, that's probably not for good reasons.
All right.
Don't these things usually say dead or alive?
I
respect
That's not how Ruth works.
Who's Ruth?
The person that probably put that bounty on my head.
Are they ruthless?
Yes.
Oh.
Like I'm like dead straight. Look at you, like yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well. Credo, should we still go into Mordenvale?
Yeah, we've had long discussions about this. Leave Ruth to us.
Sure.
Can I squish her?
I think you're a little bit bigger than her.
Shadow has no confidence in that statement.
Because we have no concept.
It's alright, we're gonna do a bait and switch if needed.
Oh, what?
A game plan. I've got a game plan.
Do you want to share this game plan, or is just like, heat of the
I'm
moment?
all for like putting someone else's life on the line than my own. So
If anyone might recognize you, I'll disguise myself as you and run.
The
Bait switch!
Genius. The makings of a military general.
No,
Aspirations of power.
Stupidness is a prayer.
You're gonna do that with your horns, and you're like a whole head taller than me, and
I'm gonna do
also
that with my
you're
minor illusion.
blessed. Oh,
Oh, wait, or disguise self. Sorry.
Oh. There's some
yeah.
magic.
All right. I still
Use
don't
my
think you
magic.
should probably be trying to get killed instead of me,
does
mostly because
Golfek
you
think?
have all.
That's
of
my
the-
personal guarantee to you, though, that everything will be okay. And if not, I will disguise myself as you and run.
I mean, but you hold all of the money and power. This party.
What does Golfek think about this?
Rouse the dumb bird.
Dismissed out of hand. On a scale of 3 to 6, how much of a problem is this Ruth?
10.
Golfek has no concept of what 10 is.
Size
On a scale of
comparison?
12 to 16, how connected is Ruth and what kind of resources does she have?
Oh, well into the 16s on this. She runs some of the undergrounds of this city. She got people everywhere.
So we could go in, we could just avoid her, and, we do have a lot of gold. We can hire some good mercenaries, right?
We are very discreet.
So she does have her hands in most
In
of the
Jupiter's little
mercenaries.
brain, she's an image of a city containing maybe 30 people.
30 people. That's a lot of humans.
A lot of humans.
25
Well, that's as many
us.
humans as you've seen.
Yeah.
We have a city with us.
Yes.
I mean, we only need like double this and we'll be able to take over the Bone Kingdom, right?
Undecided.
Ruth has a city of pink human. We have a city
Oh,
of
no,
pink
no.
human.
Ru-
Let's put our cities together
See, this
and
is
make our city take their city of humans.
this is where you don't understand. It's Mordenvale. There are all different kinds of creatures at Mordenvale. Ruth doesn't just have humans. They're puny and weak and don't really they're only used in to be killed purposes.
So what you're saying is that we could really bolster the army with some, diversify a little bit and, have a lot of equality going on? Is that what you're saying?
Just try and find people that won't kill them in their sleep.
Okay, we can find some people or magic folk.
Do you think there will be some of my kind at this Mordenvale's?
Yeah, oh my god, let's find these people!
I think he wants to make an
I
egg.
don't think you'll like some of your people that are now in this city.
Uh-huh.
But there are people like you, not heaps, but there are a few around there. But They're not like you, Goldbag.
None
Nobody
are like
could be
me.
like Goldbag. No. He's
I
just
feel like you guys are not grasping the concept of Mordenvale.
Let's go to Mordenvale.
To Mordenvale.
Yay, to Mordenvale.
Alright, but first
I'm
to
so
sleep.
gonna die.
Yeah, we took a long rest.
Alright, so Shadow cries herself to sleep.
No crying, just rocking.
I was like, wow.
I'm like,
Before we go to sleep, I take a moment alone with my special javelin.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, what?
You stroke it.
My special javelin.
He's got a special javelin.
I've got some special javelins.
And what would you like to do with your special
I
javelin?
take a moment alone with my special javelin to contemplate.
Okay, you contemplate your special javelin.
I used my special javelin for the first time. Damn it, Logan! I used.
Okay, so you
I
and your
used my
special javelin get
for
better
the first
acquainted.
time in that battle before, and I
Uh-huh.
was getting these crazy
And what did you do with it? You
flashy-backy
were
memory
thrusting
things.
it into people.
Jesus Christ.
It's really hard.
It's really what?
It's really hard, is that what you said?
yeah, that's what she said.
The special javelin was so hard that it pierced a gnome right through the center.
It did go right through its armor. Okay,
Yeah, but was
wow.
having these
Flashbacks.
flashbacky memory things.
Yeah, well, I
'cause
would
don't
like
know.
you to make just a straight up percentile roll. So take your 2 10-sided dice,
2 10-sided dice.
one double digit, one single digit.
6.
The double digit counting is tens, the single digit
That's
counting is
12.
units.
That's 12. You want
This one? This one, right?
The point
yeah, that one.
That one?
So you
And-
want 2 of those. So you one that has the single number and the one that has the double.
Uh-huh.
Oh, fudge. There we go. Just roll those.
Yep. We're good.
Okay, so 006.
60.
So you're looking at your javelin intensely, admiring the craftsmanship. The images that have been hewn into your javelin start bringing back images, the air, the sky. Your soul is exalted, brought to a high point as you fly through the air, remembering the peaks of the mountains, the snow-capped peaks,
Yeah.
the sun glistening through the clouds, the great expanse beneath you. You remember a conflict. Some people were pushing to have their way, to take control of things and disrespect the old ways, but you held fast to that. Or at least you think you did. You're not entirely sure, but you think that the image that is carved into this javelin is that of a deity that you once worshipped. Maybe you still worship them. It's a double-headed hawk. In one hand it holds a lightning bolt, and in the other, a snake. It stands proudly, its chest bared. One head to the sky, the other looking down to the ground. Its wings spread, curling up and down the javelin, along the shaft.
Magic.
That's some divine shit.
Mm-hmm.
Memories, you're kind of confused. You find it hard to sleep that night as you're haunted by these things. Did somebody do you wrong? Did you do somebody wrong? Perhaps there's something that you don't remember. And that morning, as you all wake up, you're once more haunted by dreams. Violence. Struggle. You look down. Your hands are soaked with blood. You wake up, rising out of bed. Everyone wakes to the crack of Goldbag. Give me your best. Give me your best wake up squawk. And you look down. Your hands aren't covered in blood, but they still. The feeling of the slick wetness from the dream is there. It haunts you.
Look around.
fun.
Just looking around, seeing what's going on. No one actually. Are there any corpses around me or anything like that?
No,
Still
no,
not quite
except
out
for
of
the
it?
smear of the gnome. A small puppy is licking what remains of its eyeball.
I was like, meow.
It must have come with the faithful.
I'm not liking that puppy.
He's woken me out of my
Don't stink.
druidic trance, What?
Yeah, was there any
They don't
chance?
clean themselves,
What?
man.
What?
That was really loud. You okay?
I'm not
I had
fucking
to
today.
Yeah,
We're
just
both patting our people.
bad dreams. You know how it is.
Alrighty. You
Touching
hungry?
moment.
Yeah.
I like it how you both have your pets.
Except mine's a wanted criminal.
Well,
Mo is not
it's nice to
wanted.
have things that other people want.
So we all wake up.
Yeah.
Should we head off to Mordenvale? Let's get everyone packed up.
Let's go.
So you put your things together and you get your stuff in order. The faithful have already loaded up the wagons, packed down the campsite, and are ready to go. And you make your way through the day.
I've like used my little disguise kit to like make myself look all black. So I've just gone on my ginger side that's all viewable and
Great.
made it look black.
Just give me a deception roll.
Yeah.
If you roll a 20, we don't recognize you.
If you roll a 2, I won't recognize you.
If somebody helps you, you
to
can roll
12.
with advantage.
Does someone want to help me?
Does anyone know how to disguise?
I
Not really. I don't think anyone cares.
I have a disguise kit. I'm pretty sure.
I have a disguise kit as well. Like that's part of my character. And
roll?
like yeah, well it's
All right, so
I'm
everybody
very
else,
obvious
I would like
face.
the rest of you to please make wisdom perception rolls.
so I rolled a 12.
Yeah, I want
Yeah,
the
yeah.
I mean, I could help her. I do have quite high deception.
A wisdom.
It's true, but first let's do this.
Perception.
Okay, cool.
I rolled an 8.
I rolled.
Wow! Is that? Who's that? Who is that black cat?
I like cats.
What did you get? Gold Patty?
11.
Wow! God! Yeah! I had to do a double take there for a second.
He would
What'd you get?
definitely not.
21.
What's she doing with soot in her fur?
You can't do it. You do one of those mother things. You.
Yeah, cleans it off.
No.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad disguise.
It's alright.
I mean, it'll
work
pass at a glance.
Yeah, that's the point. I have a hood and everything.
But if anyone
to
looks
it.
closely or knows them,
Yeah.
then it's likely they'll just see through it.
Hopefully
Yeah.
Ruth won't notice you.
See, because of the fur, I can't really do the contour thing with the makeup and change how my face looks. I just gotta dye the fur.
How far away from Mordenvale are we?
Just a day at this point.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, let's
We've had
go.
troubles.
So by nightfall we should.
Yeah, so you'll get to the end of nightfall, you'll camp one more day, and one more night, and then you'll be arriving the following morning, unless you want to forego sleep to get there that nighttime.
Will we be like? Will we lose hit points or something because we forgot sleep?
No, it's only after like a couple of days of going without sleep you'll start suffering
Just,
fatigue.
it would probably be best to enter the city during the daytime.
During the day. Okay. Well, let's just walk a day. Everybody cool with this? We walk a day and then we set up camp like pretty much outside the walls and.
Alright, cool. Look, a large party like yours pretty much scares off game. A lot of the hunters from the group will go off to the side in the woods as you're walking and just go ahead, scout ahead, and hunt for additional game. Occasionally you can come back with rabbits, squirrels, possums, other creatures that they skin and prepare for food and throw around and jeer and put sticks inside and wave at the children and stuff like that.
Wait, what? Is uncomfortable.
They're humans. They're gross.
They're really gross.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm a bugbear
You're
with
not a
leaves
human.
on me, and
I know, I mean. What are you?
Is
Is he just God?
He's the hand of fate.
Yeah.
Why can't the humans just swallow their food whole? Like,
Why can't they just
Like
be
my people.
vegans?
what the
No, that's not true.
You're not
Oh, you
vegan,
do that
you
with
eat
small
humans.
creatures, but sometimes large
I
creatures
do.
you'll pick them
Used to.
apart with your jaws
and
What do I do
talons.
with
and
them?
talons. Yeah.
You were always druid, even when you're
You definitely prefer raw meat to cooked meat. Cooked meat just tastes like it's burnt.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Totally bizarre. Speaking of bizarre,
Is it paleo diet that's all the raw stuff or your raw meat? Yeah.
Paleolithic
Maybe I eat
bird
raw
boy.
meat, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm a.
I-
I thought we discussed I'm a pescatarian.
Oh,
I'm
right,
a
yeah.
pescatarian.
So at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, just as the sun passed its zenith, the clouds are starting to build up a bit more, and the rain has started to fall. It was very light in the morning, but now it's actually starting to get heavier. It's not building into a storm, but it's just setting in, and you can tell it's going to be going for the next 2 days. So,
This makes
Can
my
I
life
find
a
us
little
some
bit
good
harder.
shelter?
yep, but it means you'll be holed up for a couple of days, as opposed to finding some kind of wet weather gear.
Okay. Well, aren't we right near Mordenvale? Can't we just rush in?
Yeah, you can just keep going.
What does everybody
I mean,
think
it's
about
less.
that?
It's fine for you. You've got fur. You just like let it all soak in.
I have a double layer of fur. You know how dogs do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was more thinking about polar bears, to be honest.
Also, you're fine, Golfag. That pretty much just runs off your feathers.
Yeah, lucky birds. I am a
It's-
very disgruntled cat right now.
Yeah, these
you
two are
hiding
not so
underneath my
happy.
hair?
Do you
You're
have
like-
prestidigitation?
Oh,
My what? Sorry?
Did
The
you
new cat.
take prestidigitation as one of your cantrips?
you didn't.
No.
You didn't.
I
Okay.
did not. No.
Nope. Yeah, that
All
way
right.
you
Well,
could've
you
just
two
gone,
are both
"Poof,
very
I'm ready."
damp at the moment, unless you want to do something about it.
the new cat is starting to look like the old cat.
Oh yes, I forgot about Rain doing that.
Yeah.
Did you also?
It's like it's like not fully gone because I do have a foot up, but like obviously if
cloak
I
is
touch
starting
my
to get
face, it's
wet.
yeah. So it's like it's not looking great.
How far from Mordenvale are we now?
I can put more on there and it will.
You'll camp somewhere tonight,
Yeah.
and then you'll be there in the morning.
Okay.
Which cat are you?
We need to camp.
The only cat
You also need
in
to
and our
travel for
party
another
this whole
full 6
time.
hours before that. So you got 6 hours travel, then a rest,
I get
then
that.
4 hours
Okay,
travel.
so what you're saying is that we have the option of like being absolutely soaked to the bone.
Yes.
Or
So either you can find shelter somewhere and stay until the rain goes within like
a few days.
a
That's
day or
more.
so, or you can push through the rain and just keep walking and live and bear it, or try and find
Did you
some
say
other
there was a
alternative.
caravan in our little
Yeah, there's a-
company that probably has all of the
I thought
crap
they
in
had,
it?
like,
There's a caravan
wagon.
along with us.
Yeah, they have hand carts. They're carrying
hand
hand
carts.
carts.
There's no.
Well, let's ask anybody if they have wet weather gear.
Well,
Some of
just
them
out
do. Some of them are like just putting cloaks on. There's a canvas that covers all of the supplies.
I'm hiding under that.
You're gonna crawl into the hand cart.
Oh yeah, I'm so like you just
Yeah.
see me sulking around, and when I find that, I am just like crawl under.
Are you also climbing under the canvas?
No. Well,
Okay.
I want to do the dumb thing and keep walking for 6 hours.
Likewise.
Well, you're fine. You guys are
Good
fine.
idea.
You've got like feathers and fur.
Yeah, I want to walk.
I
Oh.
feel like you would just get one of the humans to give you one of their
I was
clothes.
in-
I am
Just
marching onward
No.
in the rain with the thought of fine luxuries in Mordenvale. I'm going to immediately spend some of my money and stay in a nice place.
Yeah,
Your
treasure goblin.
sheer white dress is clinging to your body.
Great, you've
Yeah.
really painted a nice image here. Why do you keep doing
That also means that you're maybe some of your faithful are a little bit more faithful now.
Hey.
The money,
faithful are firm in their faithfulness?
yeah, the money imp is definitely
Why call me the money imp?
Can the treasure
That's what they
goblin?
call you.
Can the treasure goblin not just create
treasure goblin. That's
fire?
right.
That's what I call. It.
Treasure, who's the treasure goblin?
You're the
Oh,
treasure
I can
goblin.
produce fire.
Can the treasure goblin
call
just
you
not just?
Oh,
Why
no,
do I
the
have
money nymph.
nicknames?
The money nymph.
Money nymph, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
money
Okay,
nymph.
I thought you called me the money imp. I'm like, what?
Sorry, I did.
Yeah, treasure goblin.
She's like, you see these horns? I'm not an imp. Excuse me.
Just like imp
Imps
is
do have
way
horns, though.
lowlier than me.
They
Like,
do. They do.
Pokemon, thank you.
Yeah. So okay, here's the dilemma, guys. We don't care. We want to keep walking.
I want to keep walking. I'm happy. I'm dreaming
Alright,
of
cool.
luxuries.
I am hiding underneath that canvas,
Cool,
and I
keep
do not
walking.
hear this
All right, great,
conversation.
awesome. You continue going. You brave through the rain. It comes to nightfall. The rain is still persisting, and some of the people are starting to. Oh yeah, let's go. It's getting a little bit cold. Maybe do something about this, you know. Do
Can
you
I
care
threaten them
about
with a
your
fireball
feelings?
to warm them up?
Warm them
Yes,
up.
of course you can.
Can I threaten them?
Are you threatening them?
Well, I
Can I
can.
intimidate
Or you,
them?
did you say hit them or
flame.
threaten them?
I want to intimidate them with the threat of a fireball to warm them
Or
up.
warm their
Okay,
spirits.
do you want to?
with the
They've
threat
never
of a
seen
fire.
you do a fireball before, I don't believe.
No.
They
And you
haven't,
have to,
but they
so-
think I'm a god and I'm
Yep.
kind of their.
So
Do you want to
You have
demonstrate
to
by shooting your
hurl it
fireballs
at
at
a
something to
creature or
intimidate them?
Object with rain.
I don't want to actually do it. It'll scare the shit out of them.
Just light a tree on fire. Oh no, don't do that.
We'll use Mo as target practice.
I shove Mo into my hair. Get
I just want
Ever
to
since the rain
intimidate them.
started, Mo's been hiding in there. He's another fur creature. In fact, I think it's just you and Mo hiding underneath the canvas together.
I'm not happy like about this, like, cause he stinks to me. So like, we just like disgruntledly like glare and growl at each other.
the
again.
canvas. Stop it! Play nice in there.
You just like someone tries to get something from the thing, and me and him both just like.
Little eyes, two
Actually-
little sets of eyes peeking out from underneath.
Sir, can I please change my decision? I'd like to persuade them to continue on.
Excellent. Make a persuasion roll.
It is a 15 plus a 5, so a 20.
Holy shit.
You stand up on a rock in the pouring rain with your sheer dress clinging to your body.
Oh, wow.
And give a glorious speech, something along the lines of...
Hear me now! We will find fine luxuries and goodness and chicken with 11 herbs and spices in Mordenvale. Let us carry on.
Yay! The money nymph has spoken! Stop whining, kid! He'll be fine! A broken leg's nothing!
The beatings will continue until morale improves.
And so you have whipped them up into a fervor, and they are even willing to march through the night if you would like to not camp and just keep going to Mordenvale. Or would you want to try and find some shelter and camp?
No.
Or you want to go all night
Go to
long?
Mordenvale.
All night long.
All right.
Oh, no.
You two are weird.
All you have to do to get us to agree is just pull out some pop hit. And then it's all on board for whatever.
Shush you,
DM
I
says.
resemble that comment. Alright,
Mordenvale.
you decide to push through the night.
Yeah.
And eventually, you see it. Dark, heavy outline of a city with a faint glow of firelight just rising above it. Stone walls. You've never seen such a big structure in your life. You never even knew that one existed. It's vast, like almost a mile and a half across. It's got stone walls, almost as high as some of the bigger trees. It's got big double gates that are currently closed, and the road ahead of you has turned into a muddy quagmire.
Can I also mention that as the city comes into view, so does the smell of the city, especially because it's raining. And all the sewers are like overflowing. There's a lot of waste in it. Think of like
This city doesn't have sewers.
oh no, they wouldn't have that. It would be like it would totally be like the Middle Ages where they just
But,
threw
yes.
waste out the window onto the street. That's what you go into.
They rely on a network of night soil men who go through the back alleys collecting the feces for various other uses. So the first thing that you notice, you see the city as you come over a hill.
Yep.
And the wind changes and the smell hits you. It's not so much the smell of the human feces, it's the smell of condensed horse feces, too many horses, too many animals, too many humans and other humanoids in one place. The smell of fields, so there's rice paddies, the smell of pigs, the smell of tanneries where they use the ammonia from urine to cure the various hides and to clean things. It's the industry that creates as much of the bad smells. The smoking of various meats and abattoirs, the butchering of animals, rotting offal, all mixed together in this fragrant aroma that just smacks you like an elegant fist to the face.
I think it smells like home.
It totally smells like home.
Like I even though I'm hiding in the thing, when I smell that, I'm just like, oh, my clothes.
But the forest starts to thin out, and you're like, oh, there must be fields. There must be glades in this area. Maybe we're entering grasslands. But then you start to see that it's all just been cleared and cleared and cleared for miles around the city and just turned into fields for cows to be unnaturally packed together in giant groups, just treading on the soil and repurposed for only a single type of grain, repeated bulk after bulk after bulk, grain only existing with other grain.
So there's some corn in there as well, just for like, but that's mostly to feed cattle and things as well.
And then in the center of this extensive decimation is a single mile and a half wide, roughly circular structure of the city walls, and then the dark growth of ambiguous houses and other buildings. Just
smoke from
hodgepodged in there.
fireplaces in the air.
Yeah, you see maybe about 100 fires.
Yeah.
The smoke from about 100 fires.
Because it's raining, so it'd be cold, so people would be in there with smoke in their fires.
This is a lot more than I anticipated.
I'm just like, you just hear from it, it's just like, I told you so.
But from the faithful you hear, ah, Mordenvale, oh, there it is, son. The pleasures of life are there.
They're talking about making eggs, aren't they?
Yes, they're talking about making eggs. Don't worry, son, you'll be a man soon.
Oh,
You can drink your first ale.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, no, they definitely have a lot of
Jupiter
liquor.
is very visibly upset. And she just wants nothing to do with it.
Truly, Ruth has a much larger town than we have.
We don't have a town.
So
We have it. We have a whole city. What the fuck are you talking
We have
about?
15 pinkskins.
It's
Is that not a
25.
town?
So I have braved coming out of
still.
the caravan for now that I know that we're approaching to go up to these guys and basically do an I told you so. And also just to go for Ruth doesn't run the entire city. She runs like the underground of the city, which is not a literal underground, though there are literal underground areas, but it's really hard to explain to people.
Which
that,
ground do we find an army on?
Underground is a metaphor. Do you know what a metaphor is?
they both look confused.
I'm just crying. The
It's just gonna be really hard to find people for an army. If you get in like a mercenary group, like
mercenary group.
that'll go for a really high penny, or just some like assassins, or
Where do we
you
find-
good army. Little bit more difficult because then you rely on some kind of moral code, and that's a little bit harder to find in the city. Not impossible, just a little bit harder to find and a lower percentage.
Who runs this actual city? Is it like what political faction? Is it a monarchy, a democracy, or
I never took
a
notice
legitimate
of
lord.
the.
You know
I do.
that there are a collection of merchants who essentially run trade in this city.
Would there more be like the long-lived
so round
that
table.
run those?
Pretty much.
Around
Sorry?
It would be more like the long-lived that run those, like some elves and dwarves and stuff. Ones
it's
that can.
mostly people who, yes, obviously being able to live longer puts you in a position to
Yeah.
better accumulate power and resources, but it's more about whoever has the most say.
Yeah.
They kind of put a limit on the council at about 13 eventually, because it used to be only like 5 or 6 people, but then as more powerful people came to play and would push their way onto the council, they'd like let it grow and grow and grow, and then they got to 13, like, this is too many, we can't get anything done.
Yeah.
And so then the more powerful inner circle that you know to be sort of 4 or 5 people, they're always just the rich ones. You didn't know particularly who they were. You didn't pay attention to names and
No.
stuff like that. But, you know, some names flew around here and there. And it's always shifting. Who's actually in power at any given time could be knocked out by another person who's in power. It's just got who's got the most influence by strength and might and wealth is able to sit on that place.
Because I don't necessarily who cares who's making the laws. I just know what the laws are, so that I know how to.
The
break
laws
them
are
in a
don't
legal
screw
way
with trade,
sometimes.
don't screw with the people in
Yeah.
power.
so it's a changing dictatorship? Okay.
Where do we find ourselves a penny or an assassin
the
or a
law-
mercenary group?
Well, you know, Shadow, that in the town square there are always mercenaries looking to be hired.
Yep. There's
People
also
who can
slave
get
trade.
job done. There's
Slave
a
trade.
there's a slave trade. You can go buy some
You
slaves.
could buy an army.
The law loosely is kept by a group called Morden's Muggers.
Morden's mothers.
Ooh, that sounds
Muggers.
like fun.
Did Shadow used to be a Morden mugger?
They are simply identified by having They are the semi-legitimate law enforcement, and they can be identified by having a red fist emblazoned somewhere upon their body. There's no uniform to them. All you notice is the red fist somewhere, and if they're particularly low-ranking officers, they might just have like a red bandana. These, in fact, just grew out of some of the color gangs that used to run around the city. Just got a little bit more formalized over the years.
So, let's go to Mordenvale.
Does Mordenvale have a...
KFC.
Yes.
Sorry, you don't have that word?
Nope.
Is that where you make eggs?
Describe it.
like a... Like that. Does it have one of those?
Ooh, describe in English what you're trying to
Do you
say.
buy something there?
It's a place that you go to meet people. People who know things that you maybe don't. Like where there's a lot of people who come together. Where all of the people, they come together and they...
Oh, so
together.
about like
A
an
bar.
information center?
Talking about a bar.
Where you get information from.
That would be a bar. In this city, it would be a bar.
Is that like a really big Druid circle?
Oh you guys are gonna have a lot of fun in this.
It's
To
like
the
that,
bar.
But it's like 2 cities.
By
a
this
bunch
point,
of
you have
cities.
continued your journey
Yeah, we're
as you're
going through,
talking,
yeah.
being propelled by the good boys who are very excited about getting to the city. Some of them are a little trepidatious because it's still like, oh, we heard we weren't very welcoming of humans in this city. We were a little bit worried, but you've reassured them that you're in charge here and you'll be able to look after them. So this makes them very happy and makes them feel like they can come in here. But they are, as they get close to the city, getting a little more nervous because of the various things that they have heard about the city. And they start speaking rumors. I heard if you go down one alley for too long, you'll just get disappeared into the ground. It'll suck you up and drag you in. Oh yeah, I don't even know if the drinks they serve are things that we can have. You can turn into a mushroom or a butterfly or anything, and then you're cursed for life.
What's wrong with being a mushroom?
Or a butterfly.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? That's something against mushrooms and butterflies?
Just so you know.
No, ma'am. No, I mean, ma'am, sir, ma'am.
Some wonder off, but
Anything
just be reassured that
it's
there is
fine.
a slave
Yeah.
trade here, so you can pay
that's what I
to
thought.
replace any humans that you lose.
I'm very testy because I hate this place. I'm really testy.
And as you approach, you now start to see the
You're never gonna
two
get
sheltered lanterns coming out of the twin towers either side of the main entrance. The doors are closed, but you catch some firelight coming from the top of the towers, which are the type where it's a stone tower going up, and then atop the stone tower is built a wooden platform that extends about 1.5 meters over the edge, so that you can open trapdoors and drop rocks on people who are trying to get in.
Okay.
But it's essentially a wide balcony, and you can hear at this point the sound of jovial behavior, and you catch among the din of other olfactory assaults the smell of roasting meat starting to waft out from one of those towers.
Jupiter, not knowing anything, just wants to waltz up and be like, hello, can you
Yeah.
let us in?
Is that what you do?
So I go up and chat.
I try to grab her, but I just don't get there. She's just like striding forward with a longer stride than me.
Hi, up there. Hi, how you going? We're down here. We want to get in. Can you open the doors for us, please?
Doesn't seem like they've heard you.
Hey!
Okay, the jovial conversation suddenly
club.
stops.
Just start whacking on the door. Knock. Let me in!
See a little face leaning over. Hey! What are you doing? You see in the firelight, holding a lantern, is the uplit face of a goblin. He's wearing a pot helmet that sort of curls down over his ears. He's missing the tip of one of his ears and he's only got teeth on this side. Hey! What are you doing? Stop banging on my door!
Good sir! We'd like to come in, please.
I'm not good.
Alright.
Unkind sir. Let
That's
us in.
better.
Let us the fuck in.
Oh, you could have just bloody asked, eh?
Yeah, cool. Open. Thank.
Wait, what's that?
What?
So it looks out across the room. Are you selling those humans? They're not in chains. Well, I can't have humans in this city without being in chains. You're not done.
Oh no, we've got them under a spell. We have
Don't be the one to try to.
I have really good persuasion.
Spell humans. These are humans that have spells on them.
Great, make us play persuasion roll, Golfag.
Why him?
Because he opened his mouth.
Oh yeah.
I'm always so afraid. He does this face like, I know what I rolled, but
I have a -1 to persuasion.
Yes.
Wizards? That's even worse. We can't have spell humans in here casting spells all over the place. You gotta have gags in their mouths, and you gotta wrap their hands in cloth. Otherwise, we're not letting you in. But they'll get a good price in the market, and I've got a buyer.
Sir, what if I just wrap them in some vines and stuff? Is that good enough?
Or whatever you got, just cover their hands and block their mouths. Restrain thine humans! It's on the door, and he points down to like a little brass plate written in 5 languages about the rules for handling
All
humans in
humans
this.
must be on leases.
All humans must be on
Pick
leashes.
up after your humans.
Curb your humans.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
From
I was
person
gonna use a
who's
table.
how much will these humans sell for, and what's the slave trade like? Don't
So
look at me.
these guys specifically, because they don't have fighting skill, but they're good for hands, they won't go as well.
Give me an intelligence roll, please.
I was waiting for
Just
that.
to appraise these humans.
Ooh.
That is a 16.
Wow, well, you haven't looked at them properly. You really got to examine their teeth and stuff like that to make sure they're in good order. But also, they're pretty much covered in dirt from head to toe. So, look, raw humans straight out of the ground, you pretty much sell them for probably 5 gold each.
Oh.
But if you scrub them up and they actually turned out to be reasonable stock, you might be able to get up to 30 or 40 each for them. If they've got special talents or they're broken in properly,
What about
a
children?
good
Are they for
riding
more?
human will
The
always
younger
go
ones
for
will
extra.
go for more
We
because
left the
they'll
younger
last
ones.
longer.
Oh, we left the children
We
with the
left
women.
the children and the women
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah,
in the village.
children are
Children-
always best. They can.
Yeah, they
sell broken.
they can last
Standard
a long time,
price
so
is
you
like
don't have to
20 gold.
retrain.
Plus, I killed
Also,
that
you
one
can
that
break
was
them
really good at
easier.
fighting.
Yeah, a lot easier, less resilience.
You don't know, was it?
It's
That
morally hard for me to
The
align
good
with
human,
She
yeah.
said humans with special skills.
Oh, true.
I killed
And
the
if
best
they're
fighter.
fighters, they'd go for like 50
So-
because they're used for battle.
Maybe they gotta be
But
broken.
none of these guys are like
I
that.
think
I mean,
we
like,
should turn
I killed their
to
best fighter.
our humans.
yeah.
I think we should turn to our humans and be like, we just need to get in, we just need to put you in some chains. Is that cool?
Rope. We
I'm
don't
just
have
gonna
any
use
chains.
entangle.
They're all looking at each other nervously, sort of
Who
just shaking
looks
off
Are we
the.
allowed to give the NPCs free will to decide between chains or staying outside?
With the gold.
You can ask them whatever you want.
Or we can take the gold back from them. I want to take my gold back.
It's
Okay.
all just in the wagon. They haven't
Yeah.
got it in their own pockets.
Credo.
They're
Ask them.
You want to come in chains, or would you like to camp outside while we bolster this army?
We're just kind of like a warm meal and somewhere to stay. It'd be really nice, yeah. I've been walking in the rain for 2 days. Pretty cold. Yeah. You know, it's a bit shit.
So just, I will let
Is that a
them know.
bit shit? Yeah, it's a bit shit, yeah.
So I'll let them know that if you're tied up with us, you have more chance of living in the city than if you're loose. And warm, dry place. Don't get your hopes up about a room. Humans tend to stay in the stable.
Oh, a stable. That sounds nice. Oh, I got a bit of straw.
Can we minor illusion them all?
What? I can't do minor illusion to everyone. And it's for a limited time.
Yeah.
Can you minor illusion the
Just rope
air
them
in
up.
front of them?
What? Why?
Just rope them up.
I don't know about
Well,
magic.
can I just get some vines and stuff from the forest and just tie them all up?
Yep. And as you say that in your head, you look in the forest and you look around, and this sense of agoraphobia creeps in as you look back and you realize that the forest is at least a mile or so back that way.
Can I use my entangle in a different way than described on the cover?
I will let you use your entangle to summon vines.
Okay, awesome. So, 20 foot square starting from a point. Cool. So, for up to a minute, I can entangle these bitches. We can get them in. Okay? Cool? Credo, ask the humans.
Yes, tie yourselves up. Please.
Give me a persuasion roll.
That's an 11.
These high rolls aren't gonna last forever.
It was a 6, I'm
and then you
plus
cast
5.
the spell.
I cast it. Just, it's done.
All right, so they're all entangled. They're not expecting it, so they're surprised by it. They're like, oh! And then you go around and you pick up the vines from the ground and tie them up.
Yep, tie them all up.
They're like, hey, what are you doing? What?
Vines in the mouth.
I would like to apologize to you at this point, but it is safer for you to be in vines than out, because you are valuable not just to us. but
Okay,
to
make
other
another
people.
persuasion roll.
10?
No, we trusted you! We trusted you! Oi, keep that racket down! Get your humans in order!
Can I intimidate them, please?
Of course.
Cool.
They are
I
not
wanted
going to
to-
live if they stay unchanged. Just to
I'm
emphasize.
gonna-
Well, they're all currently restrained. Some of them are breaking out a little bit here and there.
So I'm
but-
gonna. The way that I've got it all roped up is that they're all sort of roped together with one rope at the
Well,
front.
to start with, you just did the spell, and everyone in that 20-foot area is like
Cool.
bound into the vines on the ground.
Cool.
And then some of them are sort of starting to wiggle free. Yeah, so you guys stand there, and can you please all let us restrain you, is what you're saying. And then suddenly vines erupt violently and quickly within 6 seconds from the ground and lash themselves all over all of these humans, clinging them down to the ground, and they're all stuck. Okay, and then Jupiter goes around one by one and
and
tightens.
just quickly like wraps them back up so that they can sort of move out, like shuffle
Yeah,
along.
frees their legs but tightens their arms, and they're complaining a bit.
Can I put gags in their mouth as well?
Yeah, you go intimidate them.
Oh, intimidate them?
Do you want feathers to gag them?
No, thank
Don't.
you. You need to regrow these ones. Oh shit, that's a that's a 6 for intimidation.
All right, so the situation is definitely breaking out. One of them breaks away and starts running back through the fields.
Can I
This
try?
is my specialty.
Ah! Oh, they're trying to get us. Whereas the other ones are tied to each other or tied to the wagon. Some of them are intimidated by you. About 5 of them have now sort of run various directions.
What are we doing?
Can I run and fly after the runners to pick them up?
Can I shoot him?
Are they
This
running into
isn't,
the city or
Can I
away?
shoot him?
Are they
No,
running
Away from the
away
city.
from
He's away from the city.
One older one is like, look, we have faith in the money nymph. The money nymph, we trust her implicitly. And there are about 10 of them who are listening. It's like, yeah, it's all right. You can tie us up. But the rest of them are freaking out.
Okay, somebody come up with a plan.
Is there any persuasion left? Is there any kind of...
I
What are we
mean,
gonna
so
do? I can round
5
up
of them are straight up running away.
I can
No,
try. I can
Kelpie them.
try.
like you see a kelpie round up sheep,
Mhm.
like a sheepdog taking care of sheep.
Someone
Can I
needs to-
bird person their tiny pink
So you take flight.
mammalness to steer them back
That's
in the
only
right
one
direction?
creature,
All right, great. So I would like you to give me a animal handling roll to corral these humans.
Animal handling is
Fine.
Oh, here we go. You have a -1.
11.
We've lost 5.
They start.
I could shoot
Actually, it
one
actually
for
works
you.
really well. It's basically like a sheepdog that can fly. As you start flying around and corralling the humans, and you eventually corral the humans that were running away into a
I
little
am the
area.
angel of the money nymph. You will return to your nymph. Return.
Wow, everything just got dark all of a sudden. Yep. And in the dark of the night, in the faint firelight, in the faint firelight that glistens from the towers, you manage to round up the humans, tie them all up. The ones that are faithful to you still, in spite of the nervousness and uncertainty of this situation, are still trying to convince the others that it's all going to be all right. It'll all be all right. Trust in the money nymph. Trust in the money nymph.
She's doing this for their safety.
And so they're all tied up.
And
We
do some
are
magic
doing for their
tricks with
safety.
some gold, just to
No,
lighten their hearts
stop
a little
it.
bit.
Okay, they try and pick some up, but
Like
it's like
chocolate.
scrabbling in the mud. Many of them fall on their knees and
They have no
with
hands.
their bound
free.
hands.
Can,
They,
can I then tie up the ones
Damn
that come back?
it.
Yeah, I don't think it.
Yep, cool. Unkind goblin. They are tied. Let
okay,
me
the
in.
goblin had walked away at one point, and now is like, okay, no one hears you.
Ah! Unkind goblin. Unkind goblin.
Still smiling.
Tied up.
Okay,
Let
this
me
time a young-looking orc comes over. He's got this long fringe that just hangs over. He's got some kind of leather jacket on with the sleeves cut off and spikes on it. It's kind of semi-armed, but he's like, hey, what?
Right.
Oh, you... Hello!
Hello.
Yeah, what do you want?
Let me in. Let me in.
Oh, you taking all these slaves in, too?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
It's 1 copper a leg.
Okay. Wait, what?
1 copper a leg.
All right.
Just put it in the slot in the door. You've got what 25 humans there, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of you.
Did the price go up since last year? It used to be 1 copper for 2 legs.
We have a lot of gold.
What happened? Double up.
That's like the cheapest price you can get.
Is it?
Let her do her thing. Shut up.
Give me a deception roll.
Not 20.
You. All right. Just 110. It's 2 gold. It's fine. No, 2 silver. 2 silver.
2 silver?
What? What's the
20
conversion
copper.
rate here
Yeah,
of
yeah.
copper to silver to gold?
10,
Oh,
10,
it's
10,
it's
10,
actually
all
on the
decimal.
sheet here. So
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, great.
So on the second page,
Just
it gives
pretend
you the-
Electrum doesn't exist.
Yeah, Electrum is platinum exists
Yeah,
though.
but just pretend Electrum doesn't exist.
Electrum doesn't
Okay,
exist.
I think
But
that's
you
fine.
have a
Can I
convert-
flick it up to him? Oh, no,
There's a slot.
There's a slot.
Yeah, that's actually a
door.
30. That's a 30 silver discount.
Credo,
so,
you're the leader. Pay up. Or 3 silver discount.
Yes.
2 silvers.
2 silver.
Chink, chink, chink.
Credo.
See?
Credo,
Yes.
Before we go in, see all of this gold on you. You might just want to put it away. You look great. You just might want to put some of it away, like that stuff.
I'll squish a gnome for you again.
I'm keeping it on.
Wear a
Okay,
cloak, please.
do the
Wear a
gates
cloak.
open?
Oh, for God's sake!
Yeah.
Yes,
You
the
don't
last
actually
money
have to
goes
do
through.
it. Her character puts a cloak.
I'm
up-
stuck!
It's okay. Her character puts a cloak up over her horns
Ow.
to cover up the gold
What
encrusted
cloak?
horns.
Give me your cloak.
She doesn't wear a cloak. She's
don't
got
have a
this
cloak.
really nice sheer dress that is
Pretty wet
moist
right now.
and dripping,
I thought
clinging,
you- oh,
slick to
And
her
I thought
body.
her dress was red, not white.
No, it's white.
It's white. In the
From the
picture, it's
beginning.
white.
Yeah.
In the picture, it's red.
In the picture.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, her
Oh, okay.
skin's
Are you colorblind?
pearlescent. My
Mm.
skin's
Skin
pearlescent.
is this.
Right. Yes, of course.
so-
Matching dice.
I can give you some leaves.
Can
Pull
we?
some
Can we?
So the sheer dress is clean
yeah.
jewelry.
Can I grab a cloak from since the humans are all tired? Can I go
Yes,
through
you
one
have
of
them
their
at your
possessions?
mercy.
Just you want
So I go through some of the possessions and find a cloak that would cover.
Oh,
up.
that's my. Oh, then you gag them.
Yeah, cool. And I throw that over her just to cover up a little bit of her
Bling.
extravagance and a bit of bling.
slave merchants
And I've got a hood that's enough to cover the horns. At least, like, you can't look at them, like, unless they're, like, right in front of your
She
face,
has
you'll
a
be able to see
misshapen
it.
head
But
now.
I mean,
there's
they're meant to be
plenty
a
of
little
people
bit
with horns in the city. It's fine.
Okay.
I just don't want.
Her
Do we get in
signature
the
golden
city?
horns.
Get in.
The door. Crick, crick. And you see like a miasma of filth just slink out of the door.
I give the slave rope to Credu because I want nothing to do with this. So one rope. All
I
the
have no
humans.
strength.
I don't. Doesn't matter. I'm giving you the rope.
Shit.
You just gotta like pull them along a little
As
bit.
the heavy iron-bound wooden door creaks open, you guys start venturing into the city.
Yep.
You find yourselves pass through the doors and you find yourselves in a large central market area. Well, large. There are the sounds of jovial behavior, hooting, hollering, even though it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. It sounds like there are at least 2 establishments where there are still lights on and the sounds of breaking and singing can be heard. The main street goes down to what looks like a place in the center of the city, but apart from that, houses and buildings are all built one on top of the other, higgledy-piggledy, stones at the base, but then just wooden structures rising up 5 or 6 stories at some point.
Okay. Does it kind of look like slums, or is it kind of nice?
It kind of looks like slums, yeah,
Okay.
but you wouldn't obviously know.
No, but that's in my
But,
head. That's
yes.
what it looks like.
But it's all stone foundations building up to wooden structures, and then spilling out from those wooden structures into the street are smaller stalls and vendors, many of which are closed up. There are still a couple that are open. You see a meat on a stick shop and a pie shop, just sort of like over in the corner with 1 or 2 people. A little moonshine still around the corner, you can tell, because there's a little firefly in a jar just hanging
That's
above
the
it.
international symbol for moonshine.
International symbol for moonshine.
I think we should go and find somewhere we can stick our humans just for a little bit, and then just.
You know that if you
Stable
go
humans.
down this main street for a bit farther, there are slave pens that you can hire. There are undercover and open-air slave pens, as well as livestock pens, which are pretty much the same thing. They're all kept in the same area.
Will we be able to unbind them in this place? Or we have to leave them chained up?
I mean, it just depends on which sort of if we get like the covered or non-covered section.
So there are
like,
different packages we can pay
there's
for?
different packages.
Okay. Well, I think
It's
we
very
should-
much dependent on the group of slaves that
Well,
you
my
have.
entanglement's only gonna last a little bit fucking longer.
Let's go.
No, what
haggle.
you've done is you've taken the vines
Okay.
that you've summoned and like
Oh, okay. So the time
Tied
limit's
them up.
not there. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. To the slave pens.
Let's go haggle.
Put the soldiers in their pen, and then we can go find more.
Go. Well, take us to the slave pens. Lead the
So
way.
I sort of like lead the way, being very skittish though as we go forward. I'm like looking down every alley, not like purposely like trying to make sure no one's like meeting my eyes.
'Cause in this
but,
rain-
like, glancing all the people.
Your soot has come straight up.
Well, I feel like I tried to put it back on, but it more looks a bit clumpy in my fur.
Give me another disguise roll. At disadvantage because it's hard to manage in the weather.
Is it a what?
It's 2 19s.
Oh wow! So it actually really helps. You're able to use the water to mix with the soot to make a paste,
Yeah.
and that's clinging really well into your fur and caking it down.
Yeah.
Also, being wet makes all your fur cling to your body, so you look a bit more like a sphinx and less like a fluffy tabby.
Cute.
Yeah. Cool. Yes.
To the slave pens.
To the slave pens.
Alright, you make your way down the main street. There are a few other establishments. You notice there's a boarding house to one side that still has a lantern out the front that's lit. You're pretty sure that you could probably find accommodations there for yourselves pretty cheaply if you needed to. You know that there are 2 large taverns in the main square. The ones that you passed were pretty small taverns. They were more rowdy late night taverns.
Yeah.
The big ones, they pay real money for real bouncers. So people get rowdy, but they don't get too rowdy because they know they're going to get routed out of there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but we cannot take our humans into these taverns. Is that like are there signs in the taverns and the boarding house saying no humans?
too
You're not sure.
expensive.
Can you actually read? That's a choice that you make, by the way.
I cannot read.
I think considering the diversified languages of this town, it'd probably be symbols.
It's all symbols. Yeah, most
Yes.
of it's just there wouldn't be extensive signage, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't read, but I can speak a lot of different languages.
But there might be like
Yeah.
the head of a fresh human hanging outside with a few arrows through it or something like that to indicate
Like
no
the
humans.
message is put across.
So no humans in that boarding house?
No, well, they don't saying no humans.
I just feel bad for our humans. I said hush tones. I feel bad for our humans, dudes. Maybe we should put it to the boarding
You
house.
used to eat humans.
I don't anymore. I'm a reformed person. I'm allowed to change.
You're not a person.
So we cannot bring the humans into this establishment.
To the slave pens.
So long as they have a roof.
Yeah,
That'll be
enclosed slave pen is fine. The smell's a bit worse,
You
but
wanna hang out with
the
them?
cover's great.
Do you want to hang out with them?
I don't like roofs. The humans like roofs.
He needs to fly. He's a free bird.
He can't fly.
Can. He just flew and like rounded up all the
Oh, that's right, he did too.
Far out. Stay like a kelpie. Like a kelpie.
I had an aerial battle with a superpowered human being.
So you arrive to the central market, and you can see all of the pens. You see the pedestal where they normally do all the slave auctions.
Yeah.
To the far side, there's a notice board which has a bunch of things on it for people who can read, but also there's a podium next to it where somebody normally sits barking out the notices. So it's less. There's a notice board with things written on it, and there's like an interpreter there who can recite the stuff that's written on it to the people.
I feel like some of the signs would just be like images of things so that you get the message across. Sort of like Portal, like Gladys, like, you know, when you go in Portal, like they've got the symbols to it. Some of that would be a little bit like of a watered down version of that.
Shadow, how do we put our humans in the pen?
You pay someone.
Where is that person?
So I head to.
It's the middle of the night, so most of the
much
places
money
are going to
is
be
it cost?
closed down.
we
Your
knock on
best
the
bet
door?
at this point is to find somebody in a tavern. That's pretty much where they're going to be.
Yeah.
Probably in one of the 2 main taverns in the town center, which is the Rusty Nail and the Broken Wagon.
Can we tie the humans to like a post, like a horse?
It's raining.
Yep.
Let's not do that.
Was it the Rusty Nail and the
Broken Wagon.
Broken Wagon? And which one was the one that had the
Can you
bouncers?
stay outside and hold the humans, please?
Can we just find a pen
Like-
and open the door and put them in, then close it,
No,
and then worry
we
about it?
There are
No.
There are locks out there.
there are several open air pens that seem to be empty at this
Not
point.
open air. I want a roof for these people. They like roofs.
There are some closed. There's one closed pen that looks like which has a roof on it.
So I'll open it, I'll put them in there, I'll close it, I'll put some rope on it, and I'll stand outside
They won't
until
be there in the
somebody shows
morning.
up. I'll stand outside until somebody shows
You know
up.
that
So
while you can't
whoever
see
owns
anybody
that
there
pen-
at the moment,
If you put the people in there without paying to use the pen,
Yeah.
those people are then whoever owns the pen.
you know that as soon as like you start doing something there, someone will probably come out, which
Yeah.
is probably a good thing, to be honest, because then you'll be able to deal with somebody.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, let's
So-
just start making a bit of a ruckus near the slave pens.
Make fire.
I sort of go towards
Gold
like
Devil,
the
make
main.
fire.
Because there are some that are occupied, and you couldn't see them at first, but you do see some various humanoids looking out for the pens.
Yeah. So I want to sort of like go. Well, I'll send those guys towards the empty pen. You take the humans toward the empty pen,
You got it.
right? And I sort of go around to like the main entrance area where they usually, I guess where they usually take payment when people are buying the slaves.
Yep.
So there's usually some kind of counter, and seeing if there is like
Yeah, there's
anyone
a small
around that
hovel.
area.
You see a dim light coming from inside, but the door is closed.
Yeah. Are you with me or are you with them?
I'm with you.
All right, then go. I knock.
Okay, you make your way across the square. You go past the pens. You go to the small hovel. It's just like very roughly put together construction, and through some slits of the boarded windows, it just has shutters on it, no glass. You see some light coming through, and there's a door there. You approach in the rain, and bang, bang, bang.
Yep, and I sort of just go. We have business for the owner of the.
Wait, it's late. How are you? And you hear some shuffling inside. The door opens. What do you want? And you see the hunched over this large bugbear with obviously a big hunch on their back, and they're just like looking down, and a little yellow eye going out. Like, there's a mottled gray and black fur.
We would like to rent one of your pens. I understand that it's quite late, but we do have good money to give.
As opposed to bad money.
I mean, like we have. You know what I mean.
Yeah, all right. Show me your money.
I just like flick a gold piece between my. I do that. You know, you like.
Can I
the
get out my-
Constantine
The
thing?
magic trick.
The
My
ninja
gold
thing.
femur and my gold rib.
Give me a dexterity roll to try and stop it from showing it.
That is a 12.
Okay. You like jump in. It's like catches sight of it. What? You seem loaded. All right. Well, how many humans have you got? How many slaves have you got first? Or how many? You got cows? We got cows.
Humans,
Horses.
humans.
Humans. All right.
Yep.
You know that costs extra.
Yes.
What's the
All
price?
right. How many?
How many do we have? We've got like 25 now.
Open air or covered?
Huh?
Open air or covered?
We know. So you've got one covered pen.
Yeah. You're lucky.
Yeah.
They're not always there.
I know.
Why do you want
it's
to put them in
just
a barn? It's
No.
got walls. We got a barn.
Does it have a roof?
The
Yeah,
barn
got a
will be
roof and
extra.
walls.
The barn will be extra.
Yeah.
All right, barn it is. So
You need
you've got
feed?
good business today. Feed?
Like
want
human
feed?
feed?
Yeah, like human feed.
What's human feed?
You know, just slop.
Yeah.
It's like
What they feed the pigs?
Oh, no.
Same thing.
No,
Same
no.
thing.
I'll give them some KFC.
No. So you can't like bring in a bunch of.
yeah, you can bring in what you
Oh
want.
no,
You're
but
hiring the
they
band.
can't bring in like alcohol and stuff for them
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. You can't do. They don't want any drunks in there when they're looking after their people. That's too much to deal with.
They just
But
lock
they
them
can
in.
bring in food. Yeah.
Cinema
Okay.
rules.
You take
Um,
alcohol in cinemas?
So we can supply our own food for our slaves.
Oh, alright. Good. Barn
Barn.
covered.
Yep. With walls. Barn
Oh.
with walls.
Alright.
How much? Oh,
How many?
okay.
25.
3 gold.
3 gold.
3 gold.
Haggle with him.
Did we just go from 25 to 3?
No,
No,
3
3 gold.
for 25 humans.
I mean, like,
Each?
No,
but I
for all
understand
of
that the
them.
barn
Oh.
is also like a smaller, a bit of a smaller look than your stalls. I mean, I'm surely 2 gold would be enough.
How about 2 gold and 8 silver?
Persuasion roll.
Yeah, take a 20.
Sure.
Great.
Alright. But they gotta share with the pigs.
What? That was not part of the negotiation. I just rolled a 20. Come on.
Alright. I don't know who this 20 is.
I really enjoy it when you get your like sales going.
I've got like a whole trade idea for the city.
Oh, gotcha.
Alright, so he goes, alright. Jerry, taking a pen 3. Get the barn. Alright, good.
Is it another bugbear?
Get the money.
Yeah, so I hand over
Creed,
the
you should
2
hand
gold.
over the 2 gold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you hand it over? Cool.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
taking it from my money from the faithful, so I'm
Yeah,
cool.
A very tired, sleepy-looking young bugbear, just a little guy, about sort of 8 years old.
Oh, okay. It's not like.
Not like Baby Yoda.
Okay.
I've not seen this yet.
Comes
Is it
out
furry?
and
Oh yeah, of course it's furry.
I was kind of hoping
So he's
it would be like
it's
that.
a little guy. It's like comes out. It's also got a hunch, like its
Oh.
parent. So it's like
Genetic.
even smaller.
The city isn't good for bugbear's bone growth.
Lots of tiny buildings. These guys have obviously been here for generations.
How does what's your name again? Jupiter. How does Jupiter feel about this?
Well, I don't know
I was
yet.
about to say it.
So the baby bugbear, the small bugbear with the spine sort of comes out carrying a smaller lantern, goes, carrying a large set of keys. He goes, "Oh, come with me over here." And starts walking through the mud. Goes back inside, grabs some large wooden clogs. Splosh, splosh, splosh. Starts going through the mud that is basically a cross between manure, horse manure, other beast manure, dirt, and straw, pounded down over the
It's
generation,
like a stables.
lifted up by the recent rain, and takes you to the stables. Comes to a large barn that's built onto the side of several other structures that are sort of pushed together. Looks around, says, that'll probably do them. Opens the door, and you see inside, and it's just a dry, large barn. No light in there.
Okay, so we're all together
Some
now.
iron barred windows along the top.
Awesome. So
You guys, so they come. He leads you guys over there. It was just you two. So he leads you guys to the barn, and then says, "Here it is. Here's a key. We've got a copy. If you disappear, you humans are ours."
Noted.
Noted. So with the fact that you have a key, you won't be coming in to interact with our humans through our visit.
Only if it's necessary.
What counts as necessary?
Well, I know they're kicking up a fuss, causing problems.
We'll make
Sometimes
sure
we
they
need to
behave.
beat them to go to sleep.
it's fine. But yeah, that's cool. We'll go with that. So can they see us from where they are?
Yep.
Cool.
You're within line of sight. You see them. They've gone over to the hovel. They've had a conversation that you
Yeah.
have only barely heard, and then a small bugbear has come out with this large set of keys that you see and accompanied them just over to a nearby entrance to a nearby barn, and then he's handed a key to them, and then he's gone, "That'll cover you for 2 days, the money that you've
Wonderful.
I, a large, fully formed bugbear, come over to the barn.
I'm stuck with the humans.
No, you're coming with me.
I've got the humans. Don't I?
No,
No, we
you
tied
guys
them
are
up like
looking
a
after
horse.
the
We were
humans.
stuck. We hung out with the
And
humans.
then, so I see them and I go over, a large, not hunched bugbear.
These
and
bugbears also have some kind of clothing on them as well because they
Yeah.
are in the city.
So I'm just like this
Gross.
mystical, like fully formed, not
He
hunchy
would
bugbear.
not know what to do looking at you.
So you walk
Thank you.
over.
We walk over with the humans.
I'm
Okay, so
growling.
as you approach, the small bugbear stops in its tracks and just looks up at you. It's like, oh, 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 oh. So you just keep walking
I
past
just go,
it.
"Hello, my child." Keep walking. There's wind in my hair.
Is it like a similar
It
like
stops,
drooly?
runs quickly to its things, and in Goblinoid, which you speak, you hear it say, "Daddy, Daddy, there's a lady bugbear who's naked!"
Oh.
In the-
While that's happening, I'm putting the humans into the barn, untying them, and then just like
I'm helping
shutting
and
the doors.
enthusiastically corralling them, saying, "Look, we got you the thing that you
This is like that
Is
Chewbacca
this-
moment where you like he takes him Han Solo to meet his family and they're all clothed. And And you realize this bugbear covered in fur has actually been naked this whole time.
So,
I have leaves.
so I tell our humans, it's just like, guys, have to behave. If you guys cause a ruckus, they will come in to beat you with not nice items. We'll come and feed you, but just don't.
They are
fuss.
really
Did they know that?
very
I
afraid.
wanna
They are
warn
now
them.
more afraid of running away
Great.
in this city and hanging out with any other monsters and being eaten by them than they are of
Don't-
being told what to do by you guys.
Yeah.
So they're very meek and they stay in order and they realize that in your custody they're going to be safer than they are running away unless they are actually going to be sold into slavery by you guys. They are uncertain and they are scared and they are cold and they are wet, but at least now that they are dry and
Reasonable.
I need to make a further negotiation.
Did you put the carts in there with them?
Yeah, everything's in there.
So they have access to like tools and food and
Yeah,
clothes.
they're setting up their
Or
own little.
gold.
No, I've
human-
taken back
I've
my
taken
gold
my
when I
gold
was
back
chilling
too.
in the cart.
Yeah, okay, I've got my gold back too then.
Likewise.
Great.
Can we set them up with their own nice little human camp in their human home in this human structure that they have?
Yeah, so they have the cart in there, but I need to make a negotiation because they need to be fed, but they can't be fed slop. So I'm hoping to make a negotiation with the tavern owner for an extra 1 gold per day.
Yep.
To feed them tavern food.
Oh, okay.
Tavernage.
Yeah.
That's that's not going to be enough.
Tavern
Yeah, no.
adjacent.
How about we just go with some
Is there a
bread?
convenience store?
Let's
Bread,
just go
water.
with some bread, water, and a bit of off-cup cheap meat.
Yeah.
Sure. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that'll get you. So you still probably be a bit more. It won't be like 2 gold, but it will be more than just 1 gold. I feel like. Is that
You're like, give them seed.
About
they
sound
3
reasonable?
gold will cover it for some basic feed for these
for
humans.
the
but it's
basic
not-
For the 2
Okay.
days?
I
Just
thought
for
they were
tonight.
living pigs.
No.
It's 25
We
humans.
negotiate.
Yeah.
Convenient to have your meals so close.
Why is
I
food
mean,
more expensive in this
you
place?
You can
You
just
could-
pay for the slop if you want.
Yeah, you could just pay for slop if you want.
Make a decision.
Can I
this is
have a
boring.
slop and bread?
That'll be more.
But I want to get them
Yeah, bread.
sustenance. Slop is not good.
It's got lots of different things in it. They're gonna get a variety of nutrients.
Yeah, but like, what about water and bread?
They're
gonna have the runs.
Technically, that won't be our problem.
It won't make a great fighting force.
In the immediate future, it
You
won't
can
be our
die
problem.
from
There's some bread in slop. Like
Just give them the bread and water.
Please, can I just give them? I really want to
I
give
just
them
smack
something
my great
good.
club
I
down.
That's
feel-
fine. So you guys just need to go to the tavern to sort that out.
Yeah.
Or
Okay,
you can
we need
just.
to go to the tavern anyway.
Yeah.
And snooze.
Which one would you like to go to? So you know that the Rusty Nail is a regular hangout for Ruth and her gang.
cool.
Other one?
Would you
Broken.
like-
I wanted to go to the broken wagon anyway.
Okay, yep.
The broken wagon literally has a large broken wagon sitting above its front entranceway.
I love that. That's
It's an
awesome.
ironic name. I get metaphor.
I'd like to go to the broken wagon.
Can I confirm that the humans will be fed slop if we have a different storyline that diverts us from being able to negotiate to give them bread and water?
They will have slop if you just
Right.
go and confirm, pay like a couple of copper, and they'll be fed slop.
Cool. So we do that anyway.
All right,
I'm going to do it just in case.
no worries. And
So
the
something to
humans
start
all
with-
corralled in an order, all put into place. People are looking at you strangely as if you're fussing over your humans a little more than you should. But it's late at night, so those are probably just drunks or passers-by who'd rather get somewhere warm and cozy for the night, and
sense.
no one really pays it any serious mind. As you make your way across the square towards the sounds of singing and joviality that issues from the broken wagon. And as you approach, you see an ogre and a large orc standing by the front door. The ogre is whittling a piece of wood, and the orc is standing, looking a little edgy. He's got a twitch in his eye, and just looking around.
Are these the bouncers?
Looks like, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what a bouncer is.
I feel like you would just start to walk up, and this time I actually grab you.
Like, I'm just walking. I'm just like, there's a door, can you go in?
Nope. And I just sort of like grab her and like push myself forward, and I would just like to a party of 4 for the tavern,
And Mo.
and
Has this one ever drank? Have you ever had alcohol? Yes!
And I also and I just asked the bouncer because they will. Do you have any rooms for rent for the night?
I just ask inside, says the orc.
I thought they would know the
Go on.
capacity.
Yeah, you're good.
No.
No, put Mo away.
Let's go in and have something to drink. Just like
Oh, maybe
Oh,
they
yeah,
can
and
Agreed.
you look like you're new around here, so if you draw your weapons, we're gonna kill you.
thanks for letting us know. We really appreciate that.
Just got my club. I'm not gonna say anything.
I don't have any
Walking
weapons.
stick.
They're not gonna take your weapons, but
Don't draw them on anyone.
Okay.
it's pretty standard. Then you know if you can get into fist fights.
Yeah.
It's pretty standard
You're
for
up.
this town. Like, it's different at the other taverns, the ones just by the entrance. You can go in there, you can kill whatever, anything goes in these ones. But
Yeah.
these ones, these
Yeah.
two main central market ones, they like to keep it above board. So you can have your
Good
weapons,
draw.
they understand that, but if you draw your weapons, then the people in the bar are gonna kill you. And as you walk in, you see a vast room. It opens up. Once upon a time, you know, the Broken Wagon was just a small establishment, but over time they just bought and acquired other buildings in the area, and they just broke down walls, gutted it, added extra supports. So you're looking at the inside of about 10 buildings that have all been torn out and combined together, with various balconies and rooms and people hanging out in what seems to be some private quarters. People very wildly in their dress. Some of them are elaborately dressed up people of the demonic courts. Other people are just, or you got goblins
Wait.
of various types, some low-level goblins just scurrying around. There are various kobolds just serving. It looks like all the serving staff here are kobolds, who are little guys about 2 feet tall, running around with serving trays on their heads, jumping up, and you see one or two of them just like picking people's pockets to make a bit of extra coin on the side.
So I do a glance around to see if I recognize anyone in this
A
establishment.
large crocodilian provides over the bar and sort of cleans the glass, while the rest of the kobolds, who obviously have a large bench behind the bar, run back and forth and start putting it out. You see 2 or 3 other rather sly-looking dragonborn bouncers, or just ruffians sort of sitting around.
Dragonborn bouncers?
Yeah.
So they're half dragons.
Yeah,
They're a
so dragon-
species.
Yeah,
They
they're like
have
a
horns and
subspecies of
sleek. One in
dragons.
particular
Like
has
they're a
very
half demon.
sleek black scales.
Are you
and wears
interested
a
in-
fitted-
in the dragonborn?
I want some of them in my army.
You
bad.
exclaim, and the stage
Oh, no.
lights up with a bunch of fireflies and some magical globes hovering around it. And a troupe of musicians strikes up a
Oh.
jaunty tune as a young singer-dancer takes the stage in a finely trimmed blue frock coat with a large red pompadour. He's a lizard man with sparkling eyes, and a haunting tune echoes from his mouth, filling the air with song and delight. We're gonna end game there, guys.
Woo!